Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Planet X News. It is August 4th, 2019. Hey, folks, yesterday I was monitoring the Solar Dynamics Observatory. We refer to it as the SDO. And I had a pretty good idea that I might have an opportunity to capture this object, this Planet X object, this stellar core object, whatever you want to call it, based on our latest capture that was on July 31st, 2019, on the coronagraph. I thought I might have a pretty good chance of capturing this object coming downward and through the sun's corona. Now, in 2016 and 2017, I captured this object doing just that on the Solar Dynamics Observatory, the SDO. Sometimes it's very, very hard to capture. The Earth has to be kind of in the right place at the right time. I had a little hunch that I might be able to capture it again. And sure enough, bingo. There it was, right on time. Let me get the live chat moving here, and we'll give everybody a chance to get their notifications by YouTube, the boob tube. And let me just pull this up real quick. And this was pretty interesting. I have the video footage for all of you, and we can check that out. And I also have the video footage from 2017, and we're going to go ahead and check that out. It's pretty amazing to watch this object move through the corona. It moves so fast. It just absolutely amazes me. Before I get into all of that, I've had a lot of people, inboxing me and emailing both me and Dr. Albers wanting to know how she's doing. And she's actually doing much, much better yesterday and today. She's actually able to walk a lot better than she was the day before. I just want to answer some questions, and I also want to make a few statements and a few remarks. This situation here at my home with these smart meters and what has occurred, a lot of people had a misconception. Let's just say that, a misconception on what was actually happening. Exposure to these smart meters isn't something that's going to affect you instantaneously unless you have a hypersensitivity to higher electromagnetic fields or high levels of RF radio frequency. I've been doing my own homework for days now. And I mean, I've been poring over reports. I've been poring over the internet, and I've actually gotten a lot of good advice from people who are advocates against these smart meters. And let's just face it, they do put off radiation. They do malfunction. I have read so many absolutely incredible stories. I've also watched several news reports where people reported their experiences with these smart meters. They reported it to their local news stations. The local news stations went and did their own investigative reports. And one of them was from a lady who was a nurse. This goes all the way back to 2015. And she had bought an older house. She moved in. She was just getting divorced and all that good stuff. And within a matter of a few weeks, she started suffering all of these symptoms. Now, her being a nurse, She was wondering, oh, do I have the flu? Am I going through depression because of my divorce? All these things were happening to her. She was checked out by her doctor. She was checked out by doctors at the hospital where she works as a nurse. And all of a sudden, she started feeling really, really bad. I mean, really bad. And then she started missing a lot of work. She had real severe bouts with insomnia, anxiety, all of these things. And she just happened to see a news report on her local news about people complaining how the electric company was literally breaking into people's property to install these smart meters, breaking locks on gates. There was even one video footage set up of an electric company worker breaking into the basement of a man's house just to put the smart meter in, because the smart meter was actually inside of the man's basement, not on the outside of the house. The man just happened to have video cameras as security facing that back door. Yeah. So whenever she started to see this, it prompted her to go take a look at her smart meter. And sure enough, she had one of the newer ones, and she started looking up information on it. And lo and behold, she got into some of the information that was related to the health effects. The actual health effects occur as this prolonged exposure occurs. And, Dr. Albers hasn't been feeling right, well, for almost a year. I mean, at least 9 months to a year. And we've been in this new home for, it will be 2 years in October of this year. And the effects, they're terrible. Some of these reports that I've read have come from scientists. They've come from certified electricians. I've read reports from Sweden, Germany, France, Spain, the United States, Canada. I've read reports from other journalists and investigators, and it's just a nasty, nasty business. I also read and watched a few videos from people who developed ways to hack these smart meters. There was even one guy who did a video right on the boob tube showing you how to turn the smart meter back on if the electric company turns your power off in the case of a weather event, like, hurricane, tornado, and they just decide to shut everybody's power off and you don't have power for days. Well, this guy, wow, he just takes the smart meter apart, shows you how to use 2 wires into the contacts to actually make it sounds like a loud clicking sound. And when he puts the wires in and clicks the meter, it actually opens up the contact, plug the meter back in, and now the power is able to flow even though the electric company has the power shut off electronically by computer. So, it's, yeah, man, the technology is all well and good, but again, the health effects to this type of technology are really, really bad. Sweden and Germany, their 2 reports are now citing that childhood leukemia and exposure to these smart meters, depending on where they're at. If they're located on the outside of your wall, and that's right where you sleep, doesn't matter if it's a brick wall or a concrete block wall or, a wooden frame structure, it goes right through it. I watched a very elderly lady in a courtroom proceeding testifying about what had happened to her and 20 other residents at an apartment building in Chicago, where they installed 30 smart meters right on the outside of the building, and they just a massive bank of these smart meters. And it was a brick apartment building, and on that side of the building where they put all of those smart meters, there were a lot of people, their bedrooms were located on the other side of that brick wall. And this elderly lady had been healthy her entire life. And all of a sudden, she started getting all of these really, really bad health effects. She was even experiencing nosebleeds. And they didn't really get into how the court proceeding and the court case developed. I don't know how the older lady figured out that it was these smart meters, but there is so much evidence out there. It is just absolutely amazing. Over the last 2 days, Friday, I got into a big fight. Woo! I got into a big fight with the people at the electric company again. And the representative from First Energy, after she let me speak and clue her in on everything that's happening, she said, sir, do you realize that these smart meters only put out the same energy as a cell phone? Wrong. Absolutely wrong. I uploaded a video just 2 days ago. Certified electrician and a man who was conducting the investigation. They hooked up a smart meter and they went through all of the tests, and the electrician stated flat out that this is completely different than a cell phone. So, I started getting into it with the lady on the phone at First Energy. She wasn't liking my tone. And I said, look, ma'am, you obviously know quite a bit about the health effects of these smart meters. Would you allow your child to sleep in a room that was being doused with this type of radiation for 6 months, 9 months, a year? Would you let your child sleep in that room? And the conversation went silent. She didn't say anything because she knew I was right. And I said, look, I am officially putting in a request to either have First Energy come out here and replace these smart meters with new analog meters, or move that bank of smart meters off of my property and somewhere else. Well, the lady said, oh, well, we can do that. You'll just have to contact our construction department. I'll connect you, but I want you to understand that there is going to be a fee for that. I said, I don't care how much it costs. You, First Energy, you're going to do it for free, because your little construction site that you put on my property is not within the code. And yeah, I contacted the township. They're going to come out on Monday. They're going to take a look at it. But on Saturday, I have a friend of mine who's a certified electrical contractor. He did all of the work at my restaurant years ago. Fantastic guy. And, I called Will up and told him what the issues were. He said, look, man, he goes, I have been on jobs where these smart meters have actually caught fire, and they've been the cause of fires. He said, I get people every day that call and they complain. They want me to come out. They want me to run tests. He said, there's nothing I can do with the electric company, but I can come out and run the tests. And he ran the tests also. And the electromagnetic frequency levels, the EMF levels, they were very, very high. I mean, Will said himself, he goes, look, Scott, the positioning of this bank of smart meters shouldn't be anywhere near this house, especially at eye level to that bedroom window. He said over time, you're just getting doused with the radio frequency radiation. And he said, I can tell you this much. He said the smart meters from First Energy, they send a reading back to the home office every 5 minutes. So that means every 5 minutes, that smart meter, all three of them, are sending that signal back to their servers. And I was like, wow, that's not good. And he says, well, look, he goes, be grateful it's every 5 minutes. He goes, there's some of these smart meters that send a signal every 30 seconds. Wow. So the two galvanized steel poles that are in the ground that hold the big junction box where the smart meters are attached, that box and those poles, even though the poles are metal and they'll put off naturally an electromagnetic frequency, they were 200 times the safe level. 200 times. So the reason why I'm saying all of this is, we got a few more rude comments and a few more pretty rude, sadistic, very devious emails. I don't know what's wrong with people. Some people nowadays, they're just maybe sick in the head. One guy sent an email and said, all you and Dr. Albers do is draw attention to yourself and blow everything out of proportion. Oh, you're making all of this up just for attention. Yeah, okay. Yeah. I don't need any more attention, buddy. I get enough attention as it is. I don't need any kind of attention like this. And some other crackpot lady, she actually is a member of our Planet X News Facebook group. She had some smart-ass comments to make. She's like, well, I'm just not believing this. I need to see more credible evidence. Okay. Well, go do your damn homework. Listen, anywhere you look on the internet, man, it is everywhere. Everywhere. There are activism websites and pages. My God, there's one website that lists all of these reports. Oh my God, there must be 100 of them. Professional reports. And people can go and they can check them out. Now, one lady sent a pretty rude email. I don't know what her problem is. She might be mentally ill also. She was saying the same thing. Oh, well, how did you come up with the conclusion that Dr. Albers' condition was related to those smart meters, or are you just making up a story? No, we're not just making up a story. But whenever the hospital called back and they wanted her to come back in, and some things with the blood work, I guess that's what tipped me over the edge. I just recently posted a video on the Planet X News Facebook group, and it was a blood test study that was done with 3 different people. Person number 1, person number 2, person number 3. They took blood samples from these 3 people. They placed the blood samples under a microscope, and they showed what the blood cells looked like under ordinary conditions. Then they placed person number 1, 2, and 3 in front of a smart meter that was fully activated, and they took a blood sample again. During the test, the people stood in front of the activated smart meter for 5 minutes. Person number 1, person number 2, person number 3 could not stand in front of the smart meter for more than 45 seconds. She developed a very, very serious migraine behind both of her eyes, and it was deemed that she was hypersensitive to the electromagnetic frequency, which is actually considered a disability condition in the country of Sweden now. So, when they took the blood samples from all 3 individuals that participated in the test, they looked at the blood cells under the microscope that were exposed to the smart meters for 5 minutes. Well, the blood cells some were deformed. I forget what the actual medical terminology that they were using, but it was very, very, very bad. And that just goes to show you right off the bat, 5 minutes in front of one of these smart meters can cause some serious damage. And the video is up there. It's on the Planet X News Facebook group. I also posted it on my my personal page. It's very, very interesting. It's a very short video. I think it's like maybe 3 minutes long. And, for all of the people that were sending the rotten emails and making the smart ass comments, look, why don't you, go outside and stick your whole mouth on your smart meter and suck on it for about 24 hours, and see if you, start getting any nasty health effects. People are just absolutely ridiculous and very unsensitive. I don't know if it was the comments were meant to, piss me off, but they don't really make me mad. They just make me think what a completely asinine moron some of these people are. And then we also did have a couple of people that sent some pretty nasty emails. These are just jokers. And it's too bad that smart meter didn't take you and Dr. Albers out. Oh, okay. That's real nice. Wish death on somebody. Neither of us, we've never done anything to anybody. We just investigate this matter of Planet X. We want to know about it. We want to know about the effects of this object in our inner solar system, what it's having, what effects it's having on the sun, therefore, what effects it's having on Earth. That's what we investigate. That's what we do. If you don't like it, take a hike, man. Don't watch the videos. That's all I can say. But don't send me nasty, stupid-ass emails like that wishing death on somebody. And then, one guy sent an email and said, has Dr. Albers developed a third eye yet? Or a third arm, like being exposed to radiation, making fun of the situation. The bottom line is, it's a good thing that we did catch this when we did, because it doesn't take long for this infection to get deeply into your blood. Septic shock sets in, and you're dead. That's it. You're dead. It's horrible. I just recently saw a news article just 2 days ago about a lady who came back from vacation from the Caribbean, and some kind of bacteria got into her body. They claimed it was from her dog licking an open wound that she had, or a cut or a scrape. She got very, very ill, flu-like symptoms, went and laid down, and never woke up. Her husband rushed her to the hospital. The infection had entered her bloodstream so heavily that they told her husband that they had to put her into an induced coma, medically induced coma, and they were going to have to amputate both of her arms and both of her legs to save her life. The lady woke up after all of the surgery, and she had no arms and no legs. So, to wish these things on somebody is it's pretty sick. A lot of sick people out there in this world, folks. You could see what's been in the news yesterday and again today. Not even going to mention it because I don't want the boob tube coming down on me. But you see what's in the news today and yesterday. And there are a lot of sick individuals out there. And, we seem to attract a good number of these people. As the old saying goes, if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. Especially if it has to do with somebody who is close to my heart. You want to be a moron? Be a moron. Don't do it on my time. Now, Dr. Albers is doing much, much better. She's a tough cookie, man, let me tell you. She wanted to do a video the day before. I said, what are you, crazy? And she's like, yeah, help me to my desk. I want to get back to writing. And that's exactly what she did. She still wasn't feeling very well. And, she wanted back at her desk again yesterday. And she did just that. She's a tough cookie. So I'm hoping, within the next couple of days, she starts to feel even better. I was a little concerned the day before and yesterday because her leg was turning purple. Whew! And I mean purple, man. It looked like, whenever somebody drowns and they pull them out of the river after a while and they're blue, like purple. And I was thinking to myself, oh my God, am I going to have to rush you back to the hospital? And she's like, no. All of that real severe redness went away. And it was kind of like this real deep purple color. This morning, the more of the color, the natural skin color, is coming back. She's able to stand on it a little bit more. And she's feeling a little bit better. So I have investigated some products, and I've also come to find out that a lot of these smart meter covers are nothing but junk. And I have come to find out that the majority of them are nothing but a scam. Nothing but a scam. They don't do what they say they do. I've found out that there are several YouTube channels that sell them. Some kind of fake cover. Doesn't do a damn thing. So you have to understand the RF frequencies and what these smart meter covers, what they're supposed to do, and what the companies that sell them, what they claim they are supposed to do. So after poking around for like the last 3 days and trying to figure this all out, because I know that the electric company is going to give me a big problem about moving that entire bank of smart meters off of my property. I know they're going to give me some trouble on it. So I started doing some pretty hardcore investigation on materials. Now, there are companies that make materials that deflect radio frequency radiation, electromagnetic field radiation. They make curtains. They even make paint. They make a whole array of fabrics. A lot of them claim to be used by the military. I found out through a good friend of mine that some of that's true. The majority of it is not. However, he did give me some pretty good ideas, and he did point me to a company that manufactures these Faraday cages for servers, for Wi-Fi routers, for even your PC tower. I mean, they make a whole array of products. They actually do make a material for the military. He told me he can't tell me what the materials are used for on certain military applications, but he pointed me in the right direction. And I went to the website and I checked it all out. And what I'm going to be doing, now here's the big problem. The electric company has a right that if they come out to your property and they see that you have tampered with the meter, number one, they can have you arrested. They can have you charged with tampering with utilities. Yes, putting anything over that meter is tampering. It is against the law. How often do they do it? I don't know. They also have the right to confiscate anything that is obstructing a meter. So that means if you got caught up in one of these smart meter cover scams and you paid $150 or $100 or whatever, and you put it over your meter and whatever, man, you know, the electric company comes out and they see that you have something obstructing the meter, they have a right to confiscate it. That is normally what they do. And once they confiscate it, they don't give it back to you. So you're right back to square one and you're out $150. Okay. So I have spoken to the people at this company and I told them about the situation that I have. They have materials that you can actually buy. You can cut the material. You can cover things. You can make curtains out of it if you want to block a window. So what you're actually doing is you're deflecting the radiation from penetrating walls, windows, things of that nature. They just have a new product, which is the same material, but on an adhesive patch on the back. So you can literally peel the backing off, and it's got a really high strength glue, and it's also weather resistant. So they have these patches, they call them EMF RF patches. One of them, you get two of them for $16. One of them is 10 inches by, I think, 10 by 9. And I bought two sets. So I'm going to have 4 big EMF RF radiation patches. Now you can cut the material with a utility knife or a really, really sharp pair of scissors. And what I'm going to be doing is on the outside of the smart meter, I'm going to measure the distance from the base where it attaches to the box to the edge of the glass facing me. And then I'm going to wrap all 3 of these meters with this material. Now, since it has the adhesive backing on it, I'm going to be in pretty good shape. The electric company personnel, they will probably not even notice this material wrapped around it. I'm going to do a really, really neat job. I think this will be the best course for right now. I am going to install the fabric, the patch around the outside. I'm not going to block the front, because what I have found out is the majority of this radiation does not come from the front face as you're looking at the meter. It comes from inside. So the highest readings that me and Will were getting were on the side of the glass. So you know the meter is cylindrical. On the side, north, south, east, and west. Those were the highest readings. Facing east, on that side of the meter to the right, well, that goes right to the bedroom window. So I consulted with Will about this. He said that he has heard about this fabric. He said that it does work. It does work. He said that there were several universities in my area that have used this fabric for security reasons, and also the paint. So I don't think I'm going to have to go as far as the paint. But Will said that just blocking that direction to the window should be enough. And anything that's coming out of the front, there's no need to worry about it because it's not facing my house. It's the side. It's the right side if you're facing the meters. So by Monday or Tuesday, I will have these EMF RF radiation frequency patches. I'll have them. They're coming in the mail. I got a little rush delivery on it. And before I do the installation, I'll do a live stream and I'll show all of you what they look like. And once I have it installed, I'm going to test it. And Will said that he will come out with his equipment and he'll test it with me. If I see a considerable difference in the radiation discharge and the frequency discharge, then I'll recommend this product to everybody. I'll give you the website. I'll show you where to go. And listen, folks, I have to cover 3 of these meters. So I ordered 2 packs of the big 10-inch by 9-inch patches. You get 2 patches for, I think it's $16. So that's not bad. $16 compared to the smart meter scam cover, big difference. Now, like Will said, it's a lot easier to do some trial and error than it is to just go out, spend $150 or $160, and the damn thing doesn't work. So if the patches don't work, I'm out $32 instead of $160. See my point? Okay. So as soon as I get the material, I'm going to check it out. They also make a window film. It's similar to tinting your windows. And once I have the patches installed around the meters, I'm going to see what the readings are. If the readings are still just a little bit elevated, I'm going to order the window film. And the window film is something that you put on the outside of the window. Very, very easy to install. It's similar to tinting windows on your car. The only thing that you need is a little spray bottle with some water in it and a little utility knife to cut and trim the film, and a little squeegee or credit card or plastic card just to squeeze out the water bubbles. And then you just let it dry, and that is enough to deflect those RF frequencies and the EMF frequencies from penetrating directly through the glass. They will now just bounce off. So that's where we're at with this, and hopefully I can get this corrected without ending up in jail. Because if I have to go back up to that electric company and I have to bust through their front doors again, I'm not going to be a very happy camper. I could tell you that much right now. But anyways, I want to touch real quick on this little discovery here yesterday. We've already seen, folks, 4 days into the month of August, we have already seen a considerable amount of earthquakes over a magnitude 6. Remember the earthquake report that I did right at the end of July? And I was showing you all of the data from August of 2018. 19 earthquakes. It should have been 21, but 19 earthquakes over a magnitude 6. Well, we're only, 4 days into this month, August of 2019, and the earthquakes are picking up, and the magnitude seems like it's keeping pace with last year. So we're going to have to watch that very, very carefully. I was noticing some activity brewing in and around the Yellowstone area, and also quite a bit of activity straight down the San Andreas Fault. And I mean dead on it, man. Right on the fault line. Multiple earthquakes from San Francisco all the way down. And naturally, the poor folks that live out there in the Ridgecrest area, no relief in sight, man. No relief in sight. USGS scientists, they're not saying anything. Your best source for what is happening there right now would definitely be Dutch. He keeps really, really good track on what's happening there. But do we really know what's going on underground, under that ground? Are there magma plumes underneath the ground? Well, there is. Are they bubbling up? Are they active? Well, that's hard to say, folks, because we don't have access to the scientific data, the real data. So a lot of times we have to go by just by what we're finding out, what we're reading, and the observational evidence, what is actually occurring. And that's how I do everything here at Planet X News. I want to see observational evidence. I'm not just going to take your word for it or an article's word for it. I want to see for myself. So I had one joker on the boob tube. He's been a real scammer for quite some time. This guy dropped a video yesterday, and he's claiming that this 28-day orbit that I've put together over the last 2 years is completely fake. There's no credibility to it whatsoever, and he himself is a scammer. He used to be involved with the other scammer from WSO, Steve Olson. This guy goes by the name of Alex Lujan. He's a complete moron. If you watch any of his videos, you're nuts. Let's just put it that way. So, yeah, he made a little video yesterday kind of mocking me and Mark. But the bottom line is, folks, just like I said a week ago, more than a week ago, I quote said that we should get another good view of this object by the end of the month. And then lo and behold, on July 31st, another amazing photographic capture of that object right next to the sun, clear as a bell, not peeping out, clear as a bell. And that was captured on one of the coronagraphs. Now, where this object was positioned on the 31st, remember, it's going to be going downward like this, and it's going to be traveling below the ecliptic. I was showing the electron flux diagrams, and sure enough, as this object proceeded downward after the 31st of July, our electron flux leveled out, and it's still leveled out. Oh, that's one hell of a coincidence, isn't it? I've been showing this electron flux diagram according to the positioning of this object as it orbits around the sun. And again, folks, there's your proof, plain and simple. Now, a lot of these other people on the boob tube, they don't have any scientific background whatsoever. They recycle and copy other people's work. They recycle videos that go back 7, 8, 9 years ago about Nibiru and the whole 9 yards. So, people try to get me to watch these old videos. I've been through them years and years and years ago. They're garbage. So we have to just continue to stay on point, keep tracking this object, because the reason why I'm doing it is because I'm intrigued by it and I want to know how this object is affecting the sun. See, people take the sun for granted. We really, really do. Without the sun, we're all doomed. With the sun, we could all be doomed. There's a lot of disinformation out there. Man, I'll tell you what, there is more misinformation and disinformation on this subject matter than there is real solid proof. And once again, I'm not tooting my own horn here, folks, but I'll do it anyways. I watch and I do a lot of investigative work every single day, 7 days a week. I have not found anybody out there that is producing real, solid, scientific, hardcore data like what you see here on Planet X News. I know a lot of people don't like me. They don't like my personality. They don't like when I have to call people out. Hey, you know what? Too bad. If you don't like me, don't watch me. Don't listen to me. It's easy as that. 1, 2, 3. But anyways, let's get into this video piece. It's pretty intriguing. It isn't as good as the video capture from 2017 showing this object just zipping right through the corona. Now, let's get this out of the way. You'll have your morons and your trolls that will say that this is nothing more than a coronal prominence. That is an easy quote for them to make, an easy statement. That's it. If you go and you look up coronal prominences, NASA has footage on them. There's plenty of footage on the boob tube showing coronal prominences and what they are. And I've gone over this, oh my God, for the last 3 years. Okay, I'm not going to explain all of this all over again. But a coronal prominence is almost like a little bubble of energy. Well, not little, but they're quite large. And they are more of a teardrop shape. And they'll be bubbling on the top of the sun or wherever. And then all of a sudden, they'll pop. And it's almost like a coronal mass ejection. So if you have an explosion like that on the sun, the material or the ejection is going to go straight outward. Okay? It's not going to look like it is coming from behind the sun and passing through the corona. I mean, that's just impossible. So we had that debate in 2017 whenever I captured that object zipping through the sun's corona. The trolls came out in droves for weeks. For weeks, they tried to torment me, video after video after video, trying to debunk that footage. They couldn't do it. Period. Same thing applies here today. Now, once I pull this video footage up, you're more than welcome to go check it out for yourself. I have the footage in 4K ultra high definition. I've uploaded it to my Google Drive. I would be more than happy to supply everybody with that link, and you can go and download my 4K video footage, and you can check it out up close on your own computer and you could look at it for yourself. Or you could go to HelioViewer and go backdate and pull up the information. If you know how to use HelioViewer, you can check it out for yourself. See, that's the difference between me and all these other bozos. I show you. I show you where I get my information. I show you the tools that I use, and you're more than welcome to go and check it all out for yourself. So, without further ado, let's check this out. I'm going to shrink my head just a little bit. And we're going to go ahead and pull this up. Now, I'm going to go ahead and pull up the video footage for 2017. And you guys watch right there in that area. And I actually had to slow this down 90%. Okay, 90% I had to slow this down. This is a 48-hour loop, so when you actually see this in the real time on the Solar Dynamics Observatory's 48-hour loop, if you blink or you're looking somewhere else on the screen, you would have missed that. But I have a technique that I've used now for the last 3.5 years when I analyze these SDO 48-hour loops. I literally split the screen into quadrants, and I look at the top left, the bottom left, the top right, the bottom right, and I only tune my eyes in to that quadrant at one time. That way I'm able to analyze everything on the sun perfectly, so I don't miss anything. I'm not perfect. Every now and then I do miss something, but it's rare. Very rare. Let me take a sip of my coffee while you guys peruse over that. Yeah. Interesting. Somebody said again they were going to unsubscribe from my YouTube channel because I was smoking a cigarette during my live stream. Bye-bye. People tell me that all the time. They're going to unsubscribe. Give me a break. Figure out a better excuse, man. So this was 2017, and when I captured this, well, this sent the troll world upside down. This really got a lot of people mad. The trolls, I mean, you know, the people that try to debunk you. Now, if you were looking at the sun, and I'll show you something here real quick. We'll jump out of this real quick. We'll pull the SDO up. So if you were looking at the sun, this would be your view straight on, because the SDO is in a geosynchronous orbit around the sun. So this is always going to be the Earth view. So this is how we would be viewing the sun through the eyes of the Solar Dynamics Observatory spacecraft. Okay. The photograph that I caught on the 31st of July came from a coronagraph on the Stereo Core 2 spacecraft, which is off to the left. Okay, so it's over here compared to the Earth view. So Stereo A is over here to the left. So whenever I captured that object, it was right where it was supposed to be. So this object in 2017 came down right through here, travels straight downward. What is the elliptical orbit of this object? Just like this. Up, down through the back, below the ecliptic, back up, behind the sun, and back up. And people think that that's not credible. That can't be, that can't happen. No, you're wrong, you're wrong. Listen, folks, many stars orbit other stars in that same fashion. Like I said, if you want to start to learn about that, start delving into planetary dynamics, the dynamics of stars and things of that nature, then you'll see for yourself that that's how it be, man. That's how it be. Now, let's get into the footage from the 2nd of August of this year. This is what I just captured. Now, this is a little closer up. This is not as crystal clear, but even though this is all done in 4K, I had to slow it down. Again, I had to slow this down 90% so we can see this. And you're going to see the object come from back over here, and it's moving downward. It's kind of obscured. I did everything I could to kind of, maybe brighten it up. But whenever you do that, you kind of lose the object, because this was in a different angstrom of extreme ultraviolet light. This is on the 171 on the SDO. The one that we just viewed in the purple from 2017 was in the 211 angstroms of extreme ultraviolet light on the SDO. Here's a little bit of a further view backwards, and you can see the object is close enough where it does disturb the sun's corona. Now, if that was a coronal prominence, meaning an explosion from the sun, even if it was back a little bit, that would have ejected outward, straight outward. You wouldn't have a downward motion as in the exact orbit of this object. So, is it a coincidence? 2016, I caught the same thing. 2017, caught the same thing in the same place. And here we are today, same thing. It's right where it should have been, on time. So, it's the beginning of the month. Remember the 28-day orbit. The first week, 7 to 9 days, we're not going to see this object. Why? Because it's down below the ecliptic. And things may start to level off a little bit as far as the electron flux. That is proven. I've been monitoring it every single day. And sure enough, I have a graph I could show you guys. It levels off. Why? Because the object is nowhere near the Earth. It is below the ecliptic. It's going to make its way back up in about 10 days. So by either the 13th, 14th, 15th, 16th, we may catch another view of it as it comes up. When it comes up in its orbit and we catch it on the SDO, we're going to catch it on the right side, the western limb of the sun, which I've caught it many times in that position on the SDO. And again, we're only talking about 28 days. Some guy left a crackpot comment saying, quoting the orbits of Venus and Mercury, and said that it would be impossible for an object to orbit our sun every 28 days. See, there's a guy talking out of his ass that hasn't done any homework. There's just a star that they just found, one of these exoplanets orbiting a star. I think it was every 6 hours or 6 days or something like that. Incredible speed. So, unless you really, really do some homework and you do a lot of reading and you're a pretty good science buff and you kind of know what you're talking about, you can't possibly make a statement like that it's impossible for an object to orbit a star every 28 days. That's asinine. It happens throughout the whole galaxy and the whole damn universe. Science has already proven it. Not me. Mainstream science. And I know all of you will say, oh, you can't believe mainstream science. I agree on that, but there are parts of our science that is truth. So when I noticed this, and I barely caught this out of the corner of my eye, I said to myself, ooh, what was that? Because when I see the disturbance in the sun's corona like that, it means that it's something that's not natural. It means that something is passing by that has disturbed the sun's corona. Now, if it was an ejection of some kind, we would see a large disbursement, a burst. But see, we don't see that here. We see an object passing by enough and close enough to where it disturbs the corona. It's almost like blowing out smoke and pushing your hand through that stream of smoke like this. You're disturbing that stream of smoke, the smoke being the corona, your hand being an object passing by. Get my drift? I hope I explained that well. So this was pretty incredible, and this just adds more credence and more evidence that this object, again, is in its orbit. It's in a tight orbit around the sun. The reason why I keep going over this, and I keep trying to debunk myself, is I want to know where this object is at all times and what can we expect. So once this object is below the ecliptic, things tend to level out a little bit. Now, I'm not saying that we're not going to have earthquakes during that period of time, because we just had a very, very large coronal hole facing the Earth, and we were being blasted by the heavily charged particles coming from the coronal hole. So that's another factor. As time goes on, folks, things are going to actually get a lot worse. Some of it's going to be able, you're going to be able to blame some of this on Planet X and the sun. The way things are going right now, and what I see happening in the very near future, is a lot of chaos. A lot of chaos, man. I'm telling you right now, with our weather and the way our atmosphere is heating up and the amount of radiation that is getting in through our bow shock, it's not going to be a happy time. We're going to see more and more and more catastrophes, weather-related. It's just insane. Just 2 days ago, a group of people were killed in California when a large portion of the small mountainside fell on top of them and killed them. I think it killed 3 people and injured 2. No earthquake. Yeah. The week before, I was just telling Dr. Albers about the Pacific Coast Highway in California and how it goes up along, from San Diego up through the coast of California, and how some parts of that road are dangerous because of those type of rock slides. And lo and behold, a week later, 3 people are killed, 2 critically injured. So it's just one of those things, the earth is in complete turmoil, and it's pretty sad. But we got to keep on pushing forward. A lot of people email me and they say, "Oh, I'm scared." Look, yeah, some of this stuff may be a little scary, but when you throw yourself into it and you start to learn, that fear goes away. You start to be intrigued by what is happening. You open your mind. You educate yourself. You expand your mind. That kind of takes some of that fear away. And then you become awakened. And now it's your responsibility to start helping others and letting others learn. It is truly amazing to watch it. If you're a science buff and you like Earth space science, it's pretty interesting. But at the same time, very unusual. Because it goes against everything that we were taught in school. It goes against everything that we were taught about our solar system and our inner solar system. I just don't understand why the space agencies just don't come out and say that we have a new neighbor in our inner solar system. I'll tell you why. Because they would be caught up in another lie once again. After all those years of, the NASA mouthpieces saying, "Oh, Planet X doesn't exist. Here, let's take a look at Planet 9. Planet 9 doesn't exist. Planet 9 is a mathematical equation on a chalkboard by 2 mouthpieces from Caltech. They don't have any observational evidence. They have a theory, a hypothesis, a math problem. Other than that, they don't have anything. But because NASA, Caltech, put these 2 astronomers out there in the open to be the mouthpiece and use Planet 9 as the excuse, we respected that. Most people respected that. The minute they came out with it, the minute they did their interviews, I said to myself, wow, this is the disinformation campaign coming right at you. And that's exactly what it is. So this isn't the clearest view, but it matches exactly what I caught in 2016 and 17 and now in 2019. So we can't always catch this. It all depends when the SDO was, snapping these frames, these photographs to put together as a video. And again, this one, I barely caught this. If I would have blinked an eye, I probably would have missed it. And again, you're going to have the opponents that will say it's nothing more than a coronal prominence. You'll even have some cuckoo brains out there that will say it's a spaceship. People will say whatever. Fact of the matter is, you're watching the stellar core object at a super high rate of speed, passing downward in the orbit that I've explained to all of you, passing downward, disrupting the sun's corona, and now moving below the ecliptic. So we're going to go back. I'm going to cut this off, and we're going to go back, and I'm going to show you where this object was on the 31st. So on the 31st of July, and now we're looking at a coronagraph from the side, stereo A. So this view is not from Earth. This view is from the side. Okay, so that's why this object is in a different position. We're not looking at the SDO anymore. We're looking at the coronagraph, stereo A. It's off to the left of the Earth. So that's why we're getting this view. That was on the 31st of July. Look where it's at. Now, 5 days later, where is the object? Now the object was moving downward in the exact orbit that I've spoken to all of you about for quite a while. Let me get over here to this view. And you know, folks, when you look at this picture from July 31st, I mean, what can you say? Some guy made a comment. He's like, oh, I'm so sick and tired of watching your videos because all you do is show space bubbles. Look, buddy, I've never heard of anything called a space bubble. I don't know what a space bubble is, but all I know is before I caught this photograph, I called it days and days before, July 31st. We will get another look at this object. July 31st came and went, and we saw it. So there you go. Put that in your pipe and smoke it, wise ass. Woo! Pretty good shot of that object, man. I still haven't figured out what in the hell is going on right here. Really weird. I don't know if that is some type of a plasma discharge wrapped around that object. I don't know. I don't even want to speculate. All I know is it's an incredible photograph. And I was just checking it out the other day. Really good up close. And as I was zooming into it, it kind of pixelated a little bit, and when I was making it in high definition, it kind of screwed the photograph up a little bit. But what I was trying to get to was to see if I can catch any definition on the surface. And let's move to this one here. This was one of the originals that I caught. This is on the coronagraph on the 31st. Very, very, very small CME. I mean, very, very small. Barely even registered on the coronal mass ejection detector and the Cactus coronagraph program. So again, when you look at it like that, and you say to yourself, okay, space bubble? I don't know where some of these people come up with the junk that they put out there. Space bubble? Let me go back to what I was trying to get to here. This is the same photograph after I cleaned it up a little bit, trying to get a better view of it. So this was on the 31st. So this object was right there. And the big black circle is the occulter. So the sun is a little further inside. They don't actually put the little white circle in the middle like they do on the Lascaux and Soho coronagraphs. Let's go ahead and move forward. I want to go this way. And again, another really, really good Really, really good shot of it. Does that look like a space bubble? What is a space bubble? Never heard of anything like that before. Space bubble. Alrighty then. Right where I said it would be, it's there. It's there for all of you to see and for all of you to go find it. If I could find it, you guys can find it. Here was the electron flux graph. We saw spikes on the 29th of July. It leveled off on the 30th. And I think it was either the 28th or the 29th of July when I said we have a few more days left in the month. By the end of the month, we should get another shot at seeing this object. And sure enough, July 31st, as the object came back out from behind the sun, right at that left side view, which would be the eastern limb of the sun, bingo. There it was. Now the electron flux, all of those particles heavily charged now coming from that object right towards the Earth. What did we see? Bingo. A huge influx of the electron flux, smashing the Earth. Right there. Earthquakes. Boom, boom, boom. They all go off. So when I get somebody out there telling me that, oh, you're wrong, you're wrong, you're wrong. Okay, well, that's easy to say. Prove it. Prove it. Same thing here with the magnetometer. Same thing occurred. We leveled off on the 28th, 29th. That's not a spike there. The spike will go downward. So on the 31st, there we go. Between the 31st and August 1st, bingo. There's your spike. Yeah. Do I know what I'm talking about? You bet your ass I do. Here is the latest. And this just goes to show you. I mean, here we are, August 1st. That was the day after that capture. There we go. We see the electron flux spike. Levels off, and guess what? It leveled off. Here we are, what is today? The 4th. Okay, now this object is moving downward. It is below the ecliptic by now. And what do we see? The electron flux leveling off. Now, later on today, possibly tomorrow, we may see a few spikes in the electron flux that will be coming from that coronal hole. We may even see the electron flux increase even 2 to 3 days from now, because the solar wind speeds they've been very, very slow. I mean, I don't know what is truly causing that slow solar wind speed. Still haven't figured that out yet. We may never figure it out. But I had one more graph to show you guys. Oh, I caught this weird thing. I took a picture the other day. I'll show you guys this craziness in a second. But I made this graph for just a better understanding. So on the 30th of July, the excessive electron flux from planet X was blocked by the sun. I'm going to zoom into this real quick. Okay, here's the Earth right there. The planet X stellar core object was back behind the sun. Therefore, the heavy load of electron flux was blocked, literally blocked by the sun. But as the object continued to move, what did we see? Bingo. There's the 30th. Electron flux blocked by planet X. You can see it right here. It's being blocked. But as it moved around, well, that was a different story. Then we see the spikes start to occur. And on the 31st, that's exactly what we saw. Right there. On the 31st, what was visible? That bad boy. So, are you guys all getting this? Is it all making sense? Does the timeline make sense to all of you? Oh, it does? Okay. Do me a favor. Go over there to Alex Luhan's YouTube channel and tell that moron that. Because he thinks that this is all just garbage. But it's not. This is truly what is happening. And this object's whipping around the sun, whipping around. And 28 days is fast. But if you take into consideration how fast Mercury zips around the sun. Mercury zips around the sun every 88 days. And Mercury is 36 million miles away from the sun. So Mercury is making its way around the sun pretty damn fast. Pretty damn fast. Yesterday, I don't know, something just told me, grab my camera, take a picture of the sun. I did. Brought it back in, uploaded it to my computer, and I'm looking at it, I'm like, what the hell are these little dashes? There's 3 of them, and another small one way up here. That little blue thing, that's the this object right here. This is called the WSO Steve Olson planet. Yeah, Steve Olson discovered that blue planet right there. Him and Alex Luhan. That is one of the most incredible astronomical scientific finds ever in astronomy. When in actuality, it's nothing more than the reflection of the aperture in the camera. But you could give all the credit to them. But anyways, I'm looking at these and I zoom in. And this one pixelated. One box. One pixel box around it. I didn't do anything to this photograph. Nothing. This looks like one of those rods. I don't know if any of you have ever seen these rods. There's videos of them. Still, we don't know what they are. They call them rods. I might have captured a couple of them zipping around in the sky. Here was another one. It pixelizes into 2 big, large pixels. But it's one of those rods. Weird. I don't know what it is. But I was actually zoomed in. And the cloud level was 12,000 feet yesterday. So those objects could possibly be, I don't know, maybe 10 to 12,000 feet up in the air. What are they? I don't know. I don't know. There's another one here, but again, it's really highly pixelized. Very, very weird. But then I did start playing around with the photograph, and I turned it into a black and white. So I wanted to see a little bit more detail. And there you can see a little bit more detail. Looks like a little, like the letter M, but multiple times. I've seen really, really good high definition videos of these rods zipping through camera footage. And you have to slow the camera footage down like a lot, like really, really slow speed. Some people have called them bugs before. Other photographers that have captured them, nobody knows what the hell they are. But might have caught a couple of them zipping around the sky. I could not do anything to clear it up. I ran it through all of my HD programs. I did everything I could to try to clear the image up. But sometimes when these things are moving, whether it's a UFO or one of these rods, when they're moving at super high rates of speed, it's almost impossible to clear things up. Now, I wasn't using the high definition video camera that I have, because that I can set to 120 frames a second. This, I was just using my 35 millimeter camera, no special settings, just zoomed in a little bit. And, whenever I looked at the photograph, I'm like, what the fuck are those? Pretty weird, man. I don't know what the hell they are, but they look like those damn rods. And there's 3 of them. One there, one there, one there. I don't know. Pretty weird. But speaking of UFOs, I got an email yesterday from the Stars Academy, which is the UFO organization that Tom DeLonge started a few years ago. And I don't know if any of you have seen the new TV show on the History Channel called Unidentified. These are the guys that are going after the government, and they're trying to open congressmen. They're trying to open their eyes as to these objects being a threat to our airspace. And they've had a couple of really good shows. I think they did about 6 episodes. And this goes back to the, hold on one second, let me get the photograph. Blah, blah, blah. Where the hell is it? Oh, here it is. This goes back to the U.S. Navy gimbal photograph, video footage from the gun turret on the jet, and they captured this object zipping across the sky. It was recorded. I've shown all of you guys the video. It's been all over the news now. I mean, everywhere. CNN, George Stephanopoulos questioned Donald Trump on it in an interview. You've seen it everywhere. So this group, the name of the TV show is called Unidentified, and it's on the History Channel. They only recorded their first 6 episodes. You could go back and catch them on demand. They're going to be recording more episodes probably as we speak. But anyways, I had sent in some of my video footage that I captured just, what was it? May? Yeah, here's the video from May. I sent them, Tom DeLonge and his crew, I sent them this video footage of these objects streaking way, way high up there in the sky. And they actually emailed me back several times over the last couple of days, and I sent them some still photographs. And I said, look, I have video footage of these objects taken on a high definition video camera at 120 frames per second, slowed down 90%, undeniable. So they emailed me yesterday, and they said that after viewing the still photographs that I sent them, they were very, very interested in seeing this video. So I have this video uploaded to my Google Drive, and I gave them the link to it. And about 4 hours later, they sent me another email, and they said, wow, that is amazing. We're going to analyze it. And then they said you had more video like this. And I'm like, you bet your ass I do. And I uploaded that to my Google Drive and sent them the link to it so they can download it and they can examine it. So hopefully, hey, maybe they'll give me a spot on one of their episodes. Yeah, Scotty Goes to Hollywood. Hey, Mr. MBB333, he was on Ancient Aliens a couple months back. Yeah, listen, don't even let me get in the same room as these guys. Chris Mellon, Tom DeLonge, they've already had their congressional meetings behind closed doors. The U.S. Navy has already come out with new guidelines for reporting UFOs from their pilots. This is all over mainstream news in every freaking country. Don't let me get in a room with these guys and show them what I've captured orbiting the sun. Yeah. You want to really know what's causing climate change? Let me get one of those congressional meetings. Because we're dealing with more than damn UFOs out there. But the UFOs, I've always been fascinated with them. And this video footage, I still can't explain it. These objects are moving across the sky at massively high rates of speed. So they've requested the video footage. I was more than happy to send it to them. And hopefully within the next couple of days, we'll see what they say. As soon as they return the email and they have some findings on this, I'll let you guys know. Most definitely. Pretty amazing. Pretty amazing. If we only knew what was up there. But anyways, folks, I'm out of here. I hope you guys enjoyed the information. Pretty intriguing. No doubt about it. If anybody is interested in, well, I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll do this. You guys all just hold on there for a second. Let's get out of here. Let's go to the Google Drive. Let's go to the Planet X News Google Drive. I will put the link to this in the comments section under the video, and I'll pin it there. If any of you want to check it out, it will be in the comment section.
Record everything happening on your screen using mobile screen recorder.
I'll put the link. You guys can download it yourself and you can check it out. And I will also put the link to the 2017 footage. And it's available for download, so you guys can check it out. I'll pin it right to the top. And there you go. And once again, folks, any of you interested in the shirts, You don't even have to click on the link. Underneath all of our videos, the shirts, they're all right there. You can click on one just like this, and it will bring you right to the online store. And just click on the little logo up here, and it will take you back to the actual home site. And then you can go and shop away. I have this shirt on right here. America, take it or leave it. That's the one I got on right now, baby. Woo! Take it or leave it. On the back side, USA. If you don't like it, leave. Same thing with my videos, man. You don't like my live streams? You don't like my videos? You ain't got nothing nice to say? Leave. Anyways. Let's see what some of these people are saying in here. We got any loudmouths in that live chat over there? Yeah, that's good. That's good. Well, listen, folks. Anyways, I'm out of here. I'm going to go make some, it's Sunday. I make my homemade sauce. So I'm going to be in the kitchen for a little while. And everybody, say a little prayer for Dr. Albers. She is doing much better. And hopefully within the next couple of days, all of this gets cleared up. And she can be back to normal. As soon as I get that material in and I create those patches and I run some tests on them damn smart meters and deflecting that radiation, I will let all of you know, and I will let all of you know if that material actually worked. And if it did, we have a pretty inexpensive way of covering the outer part of the smart meter glass. So instead of spending $100 to $160 on these fake smart meter covers that you can't guarantee if they work, this material, if it works, I'll point all of you in that direction. And for $16, you get 2 big 10x9 patches with the adhesive on the back. That's more than enough for one individual's home and 1 meter. So it's definitely cost effective. And as the old saying goes, it's better to be safe than sorry. So anyways, folks, keep track of these earthquakes. Looks like things are lighting up around the world over the last couple of days. Join our Facebook group. A lot of great information uploaded there 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Matter of fact, I'll give you the guys the link to it in the comment section. If any of you guys want to jump in there right now and join. Because I post a lot of stuff there that deals with our space weather. And, I'm not going to sit here and make 30 videos a day. Just click on the link. And, matter of fact, I'll put it right underneath here too. Oops. Well, alrighty then. Okay. So there we be. All right, folks. I'm out of here. I'm going to go start my spaghetti sauce, my delicious, delicious meat sauce. If anything pops up that is in an emergency and I have to come back on here and go live again, you will hear from me. And enjoy the rest of your weekend, folks. Ladies and gentlemen, be safe out there. Watch your weather still. We are not out of the woods, man. We still got a long ways to go with hurricane season knocking on the back door here for the Atlantic. But yeah, there's still a lot of crazy weather brewing. We had some massive downpours 48 hours ago. Whoo! My God. I was going to wash off both of my decks. And then all of a sudden, it poured. My God, it was horrible. I didn't have to wash off my decks. Mother Nature took care of that. But anyways, folks, be very, very safe out there. And until we see each other again, take care. This is Scott from Planet X News. Thank you for watching. Share the videos on social media. Let others see what's happening out there in our solar system. Take care, folks.